Hey everyone, it's Stewart, Principal Broker with eXp Realty. Today's topic is, are we heading into a recession? Is the housing market going to crash? Stay tuned. So today's topic is, are we heading towards a recession? Is the housing market going to crash? So let me just share with you that this is what I know to be true. There are four major differences in what's happening today than there was the recession that I lived and worked through during 2008 through 2012-13. Okay. The first one that you really should be aware of is, and this is probably one of the most shocking statistics that I've been aware of in the last year or so, is that 58.7% of the homes in the US have 60% equity. That means we have large sums of equity in homes these days. It's not like, during the recession, one of the biggest challenges is that people are taking out 100% of the house loan and they were getting interest only, so they were never paying down the mortgage. And we were just selling houses like that left and right without, any, thought about what that could do for somebody if the market turned. And then, of course, the housing prices were going up dramatically. And then when the market corrected, nobody had any equity. In fact, they were underneath it. So that's a big difference. In today's market, when you have 60% equity in your house, that means you're really safeguarding away from any, 10% reduction in a home's value, which we aren't seeing, we're not concerned about. And keep in mind, the last time we saw a significant recession of 2008 through 2012, the housing market was the reason for it, not COVID, not something else. The housing market was the reason we did it. And so that is not the case here. Housing has not been the reason that we're facing what we're facing right now in our economy. 42% of houses are mortgage-free in the United States. That's almost half. So that again just shows you that, there's a significant equity of home. There's a lot of people that own their homes free and clear. So that's good. The second thing is we have a shortage of inventory for sure here in Portland. And when I talk to my colleagues around the country on the regular, they're all experiencing an inventory shortage for the most part. And that just goes to show that housing is in high demand all across the nation. That could be because interest rates are really good. That's fueling everything right now. Could also be because so many of us are in our houses these days more than ever. We're working from home more. People aren't able to go to the office. Now they're starting to feel like, okay, if I'm going to stay in my house, do I like my house? Do I need a bigger house? Do I need to downsize? That sort of thing. The third thing is we're not doing irresponsible lending practices like we saw back before the recession. So back prior to recession, we used to kind of say, gosh, you could fog a mirror and get a loan. And sadly, that was true. Nowadays, there are some very strict disclosure rules, and what they show you upfront has to match exactly what those are when you get to closing. So we don't have any of those weird, bad lending practices that everybody got really worried about back in 10, 15 years ago. And the fourth one is home appreciation is not out of control. So if you know me, I say this a lot. A normal economist will say a 4% appreciation per year is a nice, healthy, steady upward tick. If you start to get double digits, like 10% or higher, you're going to have a correction. In Portland, even though we saw some pretty big peaks right after the recession started to recover, we have not seen double digits. We've been seeing a nice, healthy 6 to 8% per year, in some cases a little bit less than that. So that's healthy. That's good. We can, easily survive that if there's any kind of dipping or, slowing in the marketplace. So when you say, Ann, are we heading towards a market crash? I'm going to tell you there's no market crash in the foreseeable future unless there's something I don't know about that happens. But based on those factors, that's why I say there's not going to be a housing crash. Doesn't mean we don't have, blips in the screen where we have, a time where the market starts to soften, slow down. All of that stuff happens throughout the year just based on, things that occur during the year, or, we have an election coming up, and certainly we're going to see a slowdown right before the election, sometimes even during and after. There's a little bit of a pause. But overall, when we talk about housing crash, we're talking about massive, depreciation, and that's just not in the foreseeable future. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to hit me up. Happy to help, and hope you guys are all doing well and staying safe.